Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I am in a conference all day, so we've done this via recording, and you'll have it then also to refer back to if there's anything of value. And my name is Kevin Sypnewski. I'm the CEO of Aegis Network. We've been doing long-term care since 1998. Primarily, we spend our time in the work site, but we're also doing a lot of individual now as well, and large group and small group. So one question we have is there's a couple of products out there and we see people picking one or the other. And our question is, why not both? And how's that even work in the workplace? But bigger that I'd like to ask, the question I'd like to ask is, why this big resurgence in long-term care? Because back in the 90s and early 2000s, there was a lot of long-term care going on. And then it got to become what we call the nuclear winter of long-term care. And there was not much going on, especially in the work site. Now all of a sudden it's booming again. Why is that? Why are states taking action and looking at solutions and the federal government now passing 401k withdrawals for long-term care premiums? Why is this all happening? Well, people often say that guarantees in life are death and taxes. I think there's one more thing: demographics. They're guaranteed. Once a generation happens and they have their birth rates and we have their life expectancy and we know their morbidity, you know exactly what's going to happen down the road year by year. So, right now, states are being crushed by long term care and the federal government, long term care expenses that they're paying for people who run out of money, as you all know. Well, who's really the claimant right now? Most claims start at 80 or later. Well, if you're 80 or later, we've all heard tons about the baby boomers, but those aren't the people burdening the system right now. The people burdening the system are the silent generation, the people that fought World War II. People probably remember this picture if you're a little bit older. And yes, that is probably the most famous non-consensual kiss in the history of our country. But that's what's crushing the Medicaid system. That's what's burdening the long-term care system. What's next? Well, this is what's next. Aren't the baby boomers needing care? Not yet. They're still performing on stage. The problem is they are coming soon to a nursing home near you. And here's the problem: the silent generation, the men and women that fought World War II, are burdening the system massively, and there's 19 million of them. Our next group is 3.5 times larger, and we are not prepared. So that's why this is now a crisis that people can read the tea leaves, because it's coming whether we like it or not. And so how we know it's real is all the carriers are coming out with new products. And there's two kinds of products in today's world. There's a traditional long-term care, right? And there's life with long-term care, both on the individual and the group side or the worksite side. But what's interesting is this real? Is this issue real? Well, Genworth's coming out with a new product, plus one or two new carriers that haven't revealed quite yet. Allstate has a product. Chubb's just redoing products. Transamerica just refiled products. Unum just refiled new products for the life with long-term care. MetLife filed new products. So if all of these carriers are filing products, going through that expense, doing the actuarial work to price them, there's something there. And you can see it on the wall. And so, which is better? The answer is depends, because this is personal finance and it gets personal. So the traditional long-term care does great for those of us between age 40 and 79, but we're going to have health questions, and it only pays for long-term care. So if your clients say that, what if I don't use it? And that's a problem for them, that coverage might be an issue. But it also offers much higher coverage amounts available. It also offers inflation options. It also provides employer tax deductions if they pay the premium and HSA opportunities, whereas life with long-term care isn't allowed in that space. But they go all the way down to 18 because sometimes it bothers people if someone under 40 can't get coverage. And here's the win, it's guarantee issue. That makes a big difference. It'll appeal to a younger group too because they want some life insurance, and then older people that are looking for a little extra life insurance, and anyone that's uninsurable. So, very good products. Both have different pluses and minuses. As you see here, the amounts go up to $9,000 a month on the traditional side with all the inflation options. On the other side, you've got more limits. But again, there's a death benefit, guaranteed payment. You're really buying two products in one because it's not you get the life insurance or you get the long-term care benefit. With the worksite stuff, you get both. When you match these up side by side, you know, you can get pretty close to that. When you match it up, plans are pretty similar. Obviously, there's some options on one that aren't available on the other. But if you try to get as apples to apples as you can, and you look down at the pricing, at age 40, not a big deal. At age 50, a little more of a difference, close to double. In age 60, a little bit more of a noticeable difference, but realize this is a $2,000 benefit with a $100,000 total coverage amount. So for those of us at 60, that becomes a problem if we're trying to buy large amounts, especially if we're healthy. So here's an example of a large employer that we worked with, and they went with life with long-term care because it was guarantee issue. And then a week into enrollment, the 60-year-old HR person called me and said, Kevin, I am not spending $400 a month for this coverage for me, $400 a month for my husband, and we don't have kids and we don't need life insurance. So she had us go get her a traditional long-term care product because she was healthy enough to get through underwriting. But that difference is pretty stark. If you don't care about life insurance, why wouldn't you take the one that's half price? Because you got to be healthy, but that's a difference. If you're talking about this in the work site, you're going to get an employer because they say it to us every time. Well, we already have supplemental life insurance. We don't need more life insurance. Well, you kind of do because your supplemental life insurance does not follow you into retirement. It stops when you quit working. And for many of us, it's going to stop before we start working because it gets so darn expensive because you go up in age brackets. So we think this is a perfect opportunity to provide employees with a little bit of retiree life insurance that also pays long-term care claims. Not a bad deal. And again, it's guarantee issue. So when you look at each type of coverage, you get the pros and you get the cons for each coverage, traditional or the life with long-term care. But if you move down to the third option, both, look what happens. All the cons go away, except for you're going to have to enroll two products or, two different times, one product and then a year later do another one, or one product and then later in the year do the other product. Now, you have to meet participation requirements, but we've been doing this for larger employers. If you're, down in the 10 to 100 employee group, you're probably not going to find guarantee issue offers at that size. Maybe at 100 to 200, you can find some, but we are doing the two product offering with our call center as well, just finding out people's health and steering them in the right direction. The other thing, a lot better tax incentives with the traditional long-term care versus the worksite life with long-term care. Agreeably, a lot of the individual asset-based and life with long-term care products will break out the premiums so you can see what's deductible from a HSA standpoint and what's not. But for the traditional worksite stuff, they don't break it out. So really only the traditional works from the tax incentive basis. So either or, we think, both. And what we do typically is we do the traditional offering first. We find out who's declined. They get notified, and the young employees get nothing. But it does provide, but quite frankly, the young employees don't care about traditional long-term care. And then it provides the pre-tax opportunity with the HSA or the employer funding or Secure 2.0. Then later, whether later's that same year or later the following year, you come back with a guarantee issue product to solve for the declines and to offer the employees an opportunity that are younger to get a product and to get some retiree life insurance and fixed life insurance. But the other thing is anything in the workplace requires a little engagement. Whether it's on cycle or off cycle, most of us in this space prefer off cycle or both. It's different, right? We've all heard of life insurance and health insurance, and we've done it. We know how home and auto works. Long-term care is completely a different game. And we think because we spend so much time in this world that, you know, people understand some of this. Most people have no idea about how long-term care works or even what it is. Sometimes they think it's some weird form of health insurance. So what we really push is we've got to have some communication going out from the employer on this specific product. Hence the reason that off cycle works better because there's gets so much barraged by material and information when it's on cycle enrollment meeting with all the other benefits. So we try to get away from that. But also, is there any other major project going on at the firm? We worked with a hospital that wanted to enroll at long-term care at the same time they were switching over from paper to electronic medical records. And we're like, oh, heck no. We'll let you do that first, and then we'll come next year and do this. And they thanked us for that because the medical records thing did not go as planned. And then we provide a lot of online enrollment with our tools, the webinars or live meetings. And you need to have the company logo. They have to endorse this to some level because sending a carrier's information to an employee is going to be meaningless to them. They're going to delete it before it starts. Here's some samples for you. One employer we worked with, because of a corporate rule, or a corporate emergency ruling, said we're not doing any communication on anything except this one thing they were doing. And so we got caught into that, and it was too late for us to change enrollment times. And so as you can see here in the upper left, 140,000 eligible people, they did no emails, no webinars, no nothing. No one paid attention out of 140,000. The most people ever saw was 700 or 800 people looked at this, and very few people came through with an application. If you look over at the right, a university, smaller size, but still good size, you could see every time that employees were nudged, something happened. We are all procrastinators. This is an insurance brokerage group we worked with. Even us insurance people got to kick us in the shins to get us to pay attention. So that just tells us you got to show some traction and you got to show some communication. Here's the crazy thing. During the state of Washington, law cares, these employees at this employer were going to get taxed if they didn't buy a product. And guess what? They didn't care. They didn't do anything either until we sent out an email or did a webinar. Even facing an onerous tax, you still had to kick them in the shin to get them to do anything because we're all human and that's just how we are. So our background is we focus obviously on long-term care financing at Aegis. We have a lot of caregiving resources too. We care for caregivers because we know most of us are caregivers, have been, will be, and then we'll need our own care. And caring about that matters. And those are the people that care about financing. If you've never seen this, right, we know people that care about this have been through it. So care for those caregivers to get them to care about the financing. We've got a lot of background material, education tools. We have our own proprietary enrollment system that has all the major carriers on there. People can do it self-serve, or if they want some help, they want to have their hand held, we'll take them through it point by point. And obviously, online enrollment makes it nice and easy. They have choices. There's a call center with the scheduling tool, so you can hit whatever you need and make it easy for you, whatever kind of person you are. I want to do it myself. Gosh, no, I don't want to talk to an insurance agent, to, oh, yes, please help me through this. So We think this is a great opportunity, whether you're up market, selling larger groups, or down market. We think a dual offering can work well. We've seen it work well. And we're going to continue to promote choice in product selection. So thank you all for your time. We have a great sales team that hopefully you'll get to meet. If there's any need for us to help you, or you just want a little more information, we'd love to help. Thank you all so much for your time, and have a wonderful rest of your day.